If this video is finding you, don't just brush it over. I wish I had access to some of these things I'm sharing with you when I was younger, but I didn't. But thanks be to God, I have access to this information now, and I'm sharing this with you to what? To help you in your journey of life, to help you in the steps you are making, to help you not to fall into the pitfall, not to fall into the trap that is there, open trap, staring at you in your face. Stay away from that. Now this is part 3 of Are You an Adult? Are You Whole? And here I'm going to talk about what you should do to become a whole individual, plus other things. Now, one of the most potent or proven methods of a person being whole in themselves is by isolation. One of the proven methods of a person being whole in themselves is by isolation. And with your journey with God, Jesus Christ, it's one of the method God will use. As you grow spiritually, isolation is one of the methods the Holy Spirit is going to use to strengthen your relationship with Him. And I've said it already. You have no business getting into any relationship until you have balanced some of the things I spoke about, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually. This is a Christian channel. You need to be balanced. And even talking about spiritually, it is easier to connect to the Spirit of a Lord. It's easier to connect to the Holy Spirit when you are alone, when you are single. The best time to connect yourself with the Holy Spirit, is when you are single, when you are alone. You have to learn how to do that. You have to learn this thing. That's why I'm sharing this with you. That's why I'm taking the pains, making 3 videos, talking about every area, every aspect, some of the examples, some of what it has led to, how it has destroyed other people. I'm going through all of this to bring clarity to you. Learn how to be alone. Learn how to isolate yourself. One of the acid tests of knowing if you can be by yourself, be alone, is by disconnecting yourself from everything for 1 week. That is the acid test you are going to realize. You feel like calling this one, feel like calling that. You have to go through that process. You have to go. Listen, the reason why people don't want to be alone is because they are afraid of being alone. But if you start practicing the art of isolating yourself, when that time comes, for whatever reason in your life, as you climb the stairs of life, if you encounter it, you are not afraid of it because what? You have already gone through that process. It's very important. You see, isolation, learning how to isolate yourself is very important, because to make a good decision, you don't need any external person to be able to make good decisions. You don't need any external person to make good decisions. I'm not saying don't consult, but when it comes to making good decisions, a lot of the times you don't need external person. You don't need an external person to make good decisions. Some of you make decisions past that decision you are going to make by your friends, and when your friend says it's okay, before you make it. So you being an individual, you being an adult, you cannot sit down and assess and critique that decision you're about to make realize if it's going to be beneficial or not. No, you don't need your friends to make good decisions. You don't need a girlfriend to become happy, to become content. You don't need it. Every human being has to go through this process. Every human being has to build this thing, has to build this core inside of them. If you want to be whole, you have to learn how to isolate yourself. One of the ways the acid test is going 1 week without calling anybody, without spending time with anybody, without calling your friends, and you are still happy by yourself. You still get up and you still do whatever you want to do. You get up, do whatever you have to do. You're able to plan your day, program your day, and do whatever you have to do. You are happy on yourself. You don't feel lost. You don't feel sad because you have not spoken to somebody for 5 days. A lot of human beings have to master the art of being alone. And then as time goes on, friends come, other things come, fine. So that when somebody is threatening to leave you, they cannot use that thing as they cannot use that thing to manipulate you. You see that thing a lot. Somebody is in a relationship and they threaten to leave you. If you have not learned how to be alone, when they threaten to leave you, you are going to bow down to their requirements. You are going to be manipulated a lot of the time. Anybody who tries to manipulate you does not have any good intention for you. A lot of the times, they have very evil, sinister intentions about you. They have a plan, an evil plan about you. People who manipulate you a lot of the time have an evil plan about you. Nobody will be able to manipulate you. Nobody will be able to bully you. Now, in that place of isolation, another place of isolation, one of the things you should do is, and a lot of the times when I talk about being an adult, being whole is also being able to take responsibility. Understanding clearly that this thing, when I make this decision, any other thing that comes because of the decision I made is onto me. I will embrace it. I will carry it because I'm the one that made that decision. If you say you're an adult, you have to be responsible about your choices, what you say, the decisions you make. You have to be responsible. Nobody will carry your responsibility for you. Nobody will carry the effect of your wrong decisions for you. A lot of people have to come to that place. Now, in the place of isolation, one of the things you have to do is what? You have to be able to point to the negatives. Every human being has positives. There are things you are good. There are things you are good at. There are things you like about yourself, and there are things you wish you could change. There are things. Sometimes naturally, maybe your height or how you look or something. You see, if human beings will spend the time to identify the negatives around them, nobody outside of them can use it against you. Why? Because you embrace in that, and all of these things will happen in a time of isolation. A time of isolation, and one of the things you realize in the time of isolation is that one of the things that will start coming to you naturally when you decide to get into a time, when you decide to set some time apart to be alone and disconnect yourself from everything, one of the things you realize is that a lot of things will be coming to you. There are a lot of things you will have time to think about. It's magical. When you isolate yourself and you're not spending so much time on social media, your brain automatically start bringing topics and things he wants you to think about. He wants you to address. He wants you to take a decision on. He wants you to take a position on. In your time of isolation, you'll be able to think about a lot of things. You will have time to think about a lot of things that normally you will not have because I'm spending time with my girlfriend. I'm spending time with my friends. I'm spending time with this. I'm spending time with that. I'm spending time here. We are going here. We are going here. A lot of time is wasted. Watch part 4.